problem with block printing is that it's not perfect. If you want it to be perfect, you'd screen print or you'd stamp with a machine. So be gentle with yourself as you're learning this craft. And yeah, that's a big piece. I feel like sometimes people are like, this is not exactly how I want it to look. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, block printing. First thing that we're gonna do when you block print is you're gonna choose a design. Maybe you have one in mind, or maybe you have no idea. If you have no idea, I will say that shapes are always like a really good way to go. Anything geometric, circles, squares with cool patterns, that you cannot go wrong with that. I recommend that you choose something simple. So simple means that it doesn't have a lot of really thin lines. There's not a lot in the design, but it does not necessarily mean boring. So for example, for simple, this is one of my favorite ones. You can see that here's the block. It's not a lot, like there's some small lines here in the top of the flower, but other than that, I did not have to do a lot of carving to get this piece here, but it still looks kind of cool. Or I love my ladies that I did a series of, like these. So once again, it's pretty interesting, but in no way is it boring. Which lady is that? Do I have her out? Here's another one. Like this is kind of this is not the same one, but this is what it looks like for this. So, but you can see like the lines are very clear. When I traced this on, it was very simple to work with. It didn't take me a long time to carve it. That's what you want to go towards, at least in this intro class, as you're remembering or learning how to block print. So choose a simple design. I like to sketch it out on scrap paper, and then you use you trace, when you feel good about it, trace it on your tracing paper. A lot of times people like to write or draw right on the block. If that's what you want to do, it's completely up to you. If you're not sure about your design and you want to test it out, you trace your design with the tracing paper, and then you put the tracing paper face down on the gray side and hold down the tracing paper with one hand and then just rub back and forth, and the pencil marking will end up on here. This is how you get your pencil marking design on your block. After you do that, maybe it might not transfer as good as you want, so feel free to draw in and make sure you're clear about what you're carving. And then you're going to carve with your lino cutter. So this guy is your lino cutter. I took off the back. The back is where all of your blades are. So you have a lot of different blades in here, and you can kind of play around with what you think is best to use. What I recommend is that you start with the perimeter of your design first. Carve out the whole perimeter of your design. And then you use one of the bigger blades for that. And then go in and work on the fine detail. That's how I recommend that you do that. Take your time when you carve. One thing that I love about carving on this, and I switched to this material, is because there's not as much guesswork on did I carve deep enough to get the impression that I want. If you cannot see the white of the block, you have not carved deep enough. It also gives you a very good idea of what it's going to look like when you carve it. Some of the other material I used to use, it was kind of like, I'm not really sure what this is going to look like when I actually end up printing it. But it's very clear, like what you see is what you get here. So make sure that you're carving deep enough in your block that you are able, that you are able to see the white portion. Any questions so far?
I had a quick question. In the lino cutter set, is the bottom one already in the machine? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a bump here and it doesn't have anything in it. Is that normal?
How many blades do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a empty one at the bottom. I don't know if that's how everybody's was, or if that one's.
Do you have this guy?
No.
Ugh.
That's, I think, what's empty here.
It's not usually inside. I'm sorry, I didn't notice.
No, it's fine. I just was like, oh, maybe. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I opened it and it was behind the paper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You don't really use this.
There we go.
So that would have been a great one to have been forgotten.
But it looks so cool.
It does look really cool. Okay. That's good.
Sorry, crisis averted.
All right. How to hold your brayer. You don't hold it like a pencil. It doesn't give you as much control. If you feel more comfortable first time doing it like that, do what you feel comfortable with. But the way to hold it is that you, my brother's leaving if you hear some noise. Bye. The way you hold it is you grab it like this, and then you put your finger down, and then you guide it like that. If you're going around curves like this, you really want to move the block around, not your cutter. It just gives you a little bit more control. Once again, it's something where if you're figuring this out the first time and you do that, it's not the end of the world, but as you progress or if you decide to do it again, it's just some tips that help to make your carving process a little bit easier.
So you typically you hold it in your hand while you doop it?
Oh no, you do it on.
Okay, yeah, but you still turn that. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Everything's on a table. Okay, so you've selected your simple design, it's on your block, you've carved it, now it's time to test. And that is when your brayer comes in. So you're gonna get your color, and you're gonna get like maybe about a quarter's worth, and you're gonna put it on your paper plate or whatever you're using for your printing plate, and you're going to make sure that you rub out a nice even coat of paint on your brayer. And you're testing it this time, so you'll figure out how much it is. I use this acrylic paint because it's a little bit thicker, which is kind of nice. It's not too runny, which makes block printing a nightmare. So nice and even. And then you want to test it on scrap paper to see how it looks. Maybe you're like, oh gosh, I didn't carve that deep enough. I need to carve that deeper, or you just want to make some adjustments there. That's when you do that. Then when you feel good about it, then you're ready to print it on your bag. One thing to note, this canvas has a texture to it. So it means that, like, for example, here's an older one that I did. You can see that it just looks a little bit different than it would if I were printing on something else. I don't even know if you can fully see the texture. Texture is a very physical thing. But just be aware it might look a little differently, and that's okay. That's just what we're printing on. You can always change up your colors. So sometimes people will do two pieces, like they'll do a strawberry and then they'll do the vine to the strawberry and they kind of put them together. Or you can take one block and print it two colors. All you have to do, and if you want to change up colors, is go wash off your block, no soap, with warm water, and then pat it nice and dry. Make sure it's nice and dry, and then you can switch to another color. Or sometimes people will do one block with two colors on it, so one color on the top, another color on the bottom. That's just kind of guesswork, and you see how it works, and that's one of the reasons why you test, to make sure that you like how that looks. And then after that, you've officially block printed. Any questions? I know that was a lot. Like I said, you're gonna get halfway through and be like, wait, what did she say? And that's why I'm here. You don't have to have it all in your head. Just start with choosing your design.
Can you talk about the tracing paper thing again?
That's what I was about to say,
Wow. That's the part I wasn't quite clear on.
Yeah.
You said you could use tracing paper, I think, or something to get a...
Right.
So tracing paper is a way that you transfer your design to your block if you don't want to freehand your design. So once you draw your design on a piece of scrap paper, you're feeling really good about it, then you'll trace it from your scrap paper to the tracing paper. And then you put the tracing paper face down, pencil side down. I'm holding it, but it'll be on a table. And then you hold down the tracing paper and slowly drag your hand back and forth across. And that is what gets the graphite from the tracing paper onto your blocks.
Got it.
But yeah, more and more people, as I've been doing this, especially virtually, it didn't happen as much in person, are just drawn straight on the block and it looks great. So it doesn't matter, you do you.
That's 2020. Nothing matters. Don't make plans. Just do it.
Just do it. So you're going to take the head and you're going to roll it to the left a little bit, not too much. You don't want it to come off. You see when you shake it, there's a bunch of different pieces in there. So there's two actually. And what you do is you take the bottom of your blade. So let me get an easy example. We'll use the one that we thought was missing. The bottom of the blade here. And you just put it in between the two middle pieces, like this. And then you tighten it by turning it to the right. If it's giving you any kind of resistance and it's not turning okay, that means it's not in straight and you need to make sure that it's in straight.
Are the two middle pieces, it's like the one that's on the out, like the full circle,
Yep.
a half moon.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It looks like there's three, but there's only two pieces inside. So yeah, you're putting it between the full circle and the half moon. That's good, Hannah. I'm going to use that in the future. Thank you.
How far should it go in there?
It should go pretty much, let me try another one here. It should go pretty far. So most of them have like a curve to them, except for this cutting one. Most of them have like a curve to them at the bottom here. It should go to like here, where the curve is.